Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to San Antonio, Texas, Trinity University, Paul McGinley Field, where today in SCAC men's soccer we have the preseason favorite Trinity University matching up against the defending champion Texas Lutheran University. I'm Ryan Figert, and I'm joined by Luke Terry. Luke, what are you looking for out of this game?
Well, Ryan, today on the field we have two top performers in the conference for the Bulldogs. We have Luis Green, who was last week's Offensive Player of the Week in a match against Schreiner University. He netted 4 goals, and on the opposite side for the Tigers, we have Juan Carlos Vidales in goal after posting 2 impressive performances last week. 178 minutes played, only 1 goal allowed on the weekend. What do you think both of these teams are going to need to do to get similar performances from their top performers?
Yeah, it's always the question of how do you match up with Luis Green when Trinity plays against TLU. He's been an All-American each of his 2 seasons on campus, and usually it ends up being Jacob Galan matching up against Luis Green. And here is the starting lineup for Coach Paul McGinley. Vidales, as you mentioned, SCAC Defensive Player of the Week. In between the sticks, the defense is Jesus Veloz, Peter Blanc, Jacob Galan, and John Connor Rule. Midfield that we saw in the second half against St. Thomas worked to great effect. Jack Downs, Quentin Vanderlee, and Fraser Burns. In the front line is Kyle Davis, Phil Dueñez, and Connor Jones. On the other side, in between the sticks, will be Caleb Weed, and then the field players Mitchell Long, Nestor Ayala, Jared Esparza, Adrian Maldonado, Jake Menke, Nicholas Medina, Joao Maya, Abram Mendez, Luis Green, and Logan Hertz. Both teams take the field. TLU will be wearing their away kit, all gray with white numbers and trim. Trinity and their home whites, the famous maroon trim. This matchup happened 3 times last season. Trinity taking 2 of the 3 games, but the Bulldogs took the most important one, the SCAC semifinal game, here in San Antonio, 2-0. And that sent TLU on to the final, where they defeated Colorado College and hoisted the trophy for the first time since joining the SCAC. Trinity first out of their huddle, and it'll be TLU to kick off. Luis Green over the ball alongside Joao Maya. A couple big absentees, 3 actually, from last year's TLU conference winning team. Marco Roman out this season through injury, posted 5 goals, 10 assists last year. Cameron Towns, another top performer, graduated, as did Lalo Lopez Rivera, the defender, who was named first team all-conference. So plenty of names out there that we aren't as familiar with for TLU. I'm sure we'll get to know them over the course of the 90 minutes as we are underway. And TLU sends a searching ball down the right wing. Jesus Veloz shields it out. Veloz scoring his first collegiate goal in that 5-1 victory versus St. Thomas the last time out for the Tigers. Blanc to the chest of Dueñez, who leads the line for Coach McGinley. Immediately sent the other way, and first touch for Juan Carlos Vidales.
And no surprise to see Luis Green in the area of that ball. Important for the Tigers to keep him check early on after scoring 4 last week.
And not only that, he had a duct against Trinity for the first couple of seasons. He was involved in the SCAC as Connor Jones gets a filthy nutmeg in front of the Trinity bench. But Luis Green finally broke through against Trinity in that SCAC semifinal game for his first goal against the Tigers, despite scoring over a goal a game in his collegiate career. Incredible record. And I was actually checking the goals per game national record, and he's only like .08 off the top 10. And with the way his performances continue to improve, he's one to watch for that list. He's always one to watch for the All-American list. As John Connor Rule takes the throw in into the chest of Dueñez. He's holding it up, back to goal here. Drops it off to Vanderlee, one of Trinity's own All-American players. The other, Brady Johnston, will come from the bench today. Downs gets the ball under pressure, but keeps possession for the Tigers, who are forced back. Good flick around the corner from Burns, give and go with Davis on the left. Veloz gets the ball back to Davis, now driving towards the Texas Lutheran goal. Took a bump, and the Bulldogs were forced to put it out for a throw on the far side. These two teams with 3 wins apiece. Trinity 3-0-1. The draw with Southwestern. TLU 3-2 in their 5 games so far.
And Trinity very aggressive to start this game, pressing forward. You can tell that they still have a bad taste in their mouth after last year's loss in the quarterfinals to this TLU team.
Joinez goes down, and whistle bails it out and stops the TLU counterattack. Nestor Ayala commits the foul. And Trinity's opening goal against the Celts on Sunday came from a free kick, maybe in this exact same spot, and it was taken by Jack Downs, who stands over it now. Peter Blanc was the one that finished it off. After the initial effort from Vanderlee was repelled, we'll see if Trinity looks to draw it up in a similar fashion here. Downs raises his hand, sends it in, curving towards the back post, and Vanderlee was closest to it, but over his head and out for a goal kick.
Good early effort by the Tigers. They did well to earn a set piece there. They'll look to continue threatening, trying to hold the ball in the final third against this Bulldogs team.
Goal kick taken by Weed. Both teams trading headers, eventually finds the chest of Joinez. Ball falls for Downs in midfield. Will spray it out wide for Rule, playing out on right back for the first time this season, with Galan shifted inside to deal with Green. Rule getting forward down the wing, takes a bump, but referee says shoulder to shoulder, fair play. It'll be another goal kick for Caleb Weed. Weed a split time in the Texas Lutheran goal with Noel Pena. See if we see him later in the game. A first-year goalkeeper from Houston, Texas. But it's the sophomore that gets the start, playing in his home city of San Antonio. He's one of the shorter goalkeepers in the conference at just 5'6", really one of the shortest goalkeepers you'll see. And Trinity was able to take advantage of that in the regular season matchups as Luis Green goes beyond Jacob Galan, first very forward for Luis Green. He's stuck in the corner, and Galan strips it of him. And Trinity get it clear for the moment. Falls at the feet of Downs. I mentioned going back to that early season non-conference matchup between these two teams. It was Jacob Galan himself that took a shot on from about 30 yards over the head of Caleb Weed. It's Philip Joinez, takes it off the TLU back line and goes through on goal. But his effort was disappointing right at the Texas Lutheran goalkeeper. His own pressure led to the chance. You see Weed moving to his right early, getting the read on Dueñez's shot.
But a great opportunity by Dueñez there. Got a good block and opened himself up for the shot on goal.
Trinity pressure leading to that opportunity. Might they create something here with Burns whipping it in, excuse me. That time it was Davis who popped up centrally looking to apply the finish. Rule over the Blanc, flicks it over the head of Hurt. Jones in space will try and whip it in. And it's out for a throw. Deep, deep in TLU territory. Rule forward to come and take it. Jones goes quickly into the chest of Burns. Back to Jones. Service towards the back post, finds Davis, who turns it goalward. Not a ton of power in the volley for Kyle Davis, but he got the direction and forced Weed into a save.
But again, lots of possession here early on for the Tigers in the Bulldogs' final third.
Galan and Vanderlee battling with Green, and eventually Vanderlee draws the foul. Coach Eddie Salazar for Texas Lutheran, protesting with the official there. He's in his 15th season as the winningest coach in program history, and the only coach to win the SCAC for TLU. He also won the ASC back in his playing days for the Bulldogs as team captain. So he led them to a conference championship both as a player and a coach. He is Mr. Texas Lutheran Soccer, Eddie Salazar. Velos down the left side, drops it off for Davis. Infield for Vanderlee, who slips but keeps possession. And he's forward now down the left wing, beyond one defender, and goes to ground. Last touch off a Bulldog for another Trinity corner. A rare foray forward for Vanderlee. Usually see him sitting at home in front of the Trinity back line, but got adventurous there and won a corner, which Trinity takes quickly. Burns, all kinds of time to size up the delivery. It's a flat one towards Davis, flicked on at the near post, but blocked away by TLU. Jones keeps it alive, but he's whistled for a foul. Well worked by Trinity to catch Texas Lutheran setting up for the corner by going quick. Plenty of early chances for the Tigers. Again, Golan battling with Green. And again, Green commits the foul. His second already, just about 10 minutes into the game. Trinity goes quick. Looking to play out of the back, and now Blanc wants to switch the play. Headers won by Mitchell Long, senior captain out of Round Rock, Texas. Takes the armband that was worn by Cameron Towns last season. He had, I think, Louis Green prime candidate to take that armband as a senior next year. Velos. Matched up with Medina on the far side. A little bit of a loose pass, tracked down by Burns just at the halfway line. Wanted to break lines and find Connor Jones, who had come inside. It's out for a Trinity throw taken by Rule. Jones tries to flick it over his head and run in behind, but wins another throw. Nestor Ayala puts it out. Redshirt sophomore from Dorado. Poked back to Rule, who'll work to keep this one in play. He does. Vanderlee, his pass put out for another throw.
And Ryan, so far, Tigers have been very aggressive. Is this about what you expected from them in this game?
Yeah, especially with some of those key absentees we mentioned from last year's team, as Burns takes it on the chest inside the box. I always felt Trinity was going to have a majority of the attacking play. It's about the counterattacks for Texas Lutheran. Haven't seen just yet, but I'm sure they will come with Louis Green leading the line. The 2-0 semifinal game, we've mentioned a couple times that the Bulldogs came out on top. Trinity had a majority of the possession, a majority of the chances, but the visitors were just more clinical on the counterattack, scoring twice late in that game. Louis Green sealing it in the 89th minute with the second goal. The other two games, Trinity took 4-0 and 1-0. Plenty of players out there today that scored in those games. Golan, Burns, and I'm sure we'll see Wesley Mitchell later in the game. All scored against the Bulldogs last year. Willos fakes the throw backwards and now goes in for Burns, whose touch is heavy. And it'll instead be a Texas Lutheran throw. Mitchell Long, ball in his hands, playing as the right back today in the back four for Coach Salazar. Vanderlee takes that one away, and Texas Lutheran will advance with another throw.
Stay aware, Logan.
Velos rises to head it out. Again, the Bulldogs will take 10 more yards. And when we zoom out here momentarily, you'll notice Golan is quite literally man-marking Louis Green. It's not a strategy you see often, except when you come up against an exceptional talent. And Green certainly fits that mold with his goal-scoring record. 44 games in his career, 46 goals, 5 assists. And that is why Trinity's strongest defender, Jacob Golan, is following him wherever he goes.
The Bulldogs a little more patient with that attack there. but the Tigers forced a turnover and took a throw in here.
Golan receives the ball from the throw, spreads the play to Peter Blanc. Once a long ball over the top for Rule, who had gone on the overlap, and it ran away from Blanc and went out of play. Hurt takes the throw. Maya claims of handball against Rule, but referee says play on. It's out for a Texas Lutheran throw. There's been a few near misses in terms of handball calls. The officials have let play. That one just over the head of Vanderleet. Runs through to Golan. Who turns and plays it up the line. Vanderleet again goes down the line. And now space for Downs, who spreads the play out to the left for Veloz. Medina in retreat, trying to get back in position. And Davis wanted to go nutmeg against Mitchell Long. He wins a throw for Trinity.
And deep in Bulldog territory, I will add, that one started by Golan, who chose to play it forward rather than playing it backwards towards Vidalis in goal.
Trinity's best chances have come when they're able to play out of pressure, and especially when they're able to switch the play, as they were there through Jack Downs. Downs applying the pressure, but Maldonado clears it. Blanc, head up, has his pass intercepted. Strong first touch from Maya. As Blanc atoned for his own sin there, giving the ball away in the back. Maya stayed down behind the play. As Jones is forward down Trinity's right wing. Last touch off the junior winger. Behind for a goal kick, and we'll pause here as Maya stays down for Trinity, who you see have all 4 of the game's shots, 3 of them on target. Forcing those 3 saves out of Caleb Weed. It was a strong tackle, strong coming together from Blanc, who had to go to ground, trying to intercept after he himself gave the ball away. It definitely won the ball, just the force of the tackle that sent the trainer out to meet Maya here on the field. Maya says he's going to try and walk this one off. We'll see if they allow him to do so. He's playing in a role that Marco Roman often played for the Bulldogs last season when he was the league leader in assists for the SCAC. Big miss this year through injury. We hope and wish him the best in his recovery. Such a fantastic player and had such a fantastic connection with Green. 2 of those combining for so many of Luis Green's 20-plus tallies last season. Davis called for going over the back, and Texas Lutheran play quickly. Long forward from right back. Look to whip one in. Jared Esparza's cross is blocked by Davis. Medina flicks it over the head of Veloz, who is able to clear. Runs out of play, and Veloz will take the throw in. See some fans gathered just outside the gate. Still spectators not allowed in here due to Trinity policy. They can't stay away from such an interesting matchup as Trinity now comes forward. John Connor Rule bursting into the attack. He has Jones to his right, 3 forward to his left. Connor Jones in space. He's got teammates arriving in the box. He gets it through. Caleb Weed spills it, and it's off the post. Dueña is unable to convert his shot coming off the post, and then he himself running into the post. We'll see what happened. Yeah, Weed unable to hold the cross, presented the opportunity to Dueñas, who was inches away from opening the scoring.
But again, another great opportunities for the Tigers. Started with a great challenge in the Tigers' half, then great pace by Rule, great patience, swinging it out wide before that one was crossed in.
Not a role that Rule has played much of. Usually played in the heart of defense. But he's shown good energy in the attack. He's now going to be matched up with a Texas Lutheran substitute, Santiago Quiñones from Chihuahua, Mexico. Graduate of New Braunfels High. Jones wins the second header after Vanderlee initially got ahead to it. And now Rule bursting forward down the right. Hurt forced to clear, out for a throw.
But as you've said, Rule's play down that right side has been crucial so far, bringing a ton of energy.
Switch play from Jones out to Velos. Wants to find the feet of Dueñas, the striker. Instead it arrives at the feet of Luis Green. Texas Lutheran with a chance here. 3 in the attack. Quiñones off the bench. He's matched up with Rule. Step over. Gets beyond Rule. He's forced to poke it out for a corner. Texas Lutheran's first of the game. Well done from the substitute there, Quiñones. Trinity conceded a goal from a corner kick in that 1-1 draw with Southwestern late in the game. That came from their inability to get a firm clearance. So they'll certainly be wary of the threat that such a set piece presents. Trinity playing their zonal system. The runs come in now for the Bulldogs. Hit towards the back post. Header won by Davis. Out for a throw on the opposite side.
Perhaps a bit too much air under that corner. Didn't seem like it had enough pace to find the head of a Bulldog offender.
After losing Lopez Rivera, who was the tallest player and biggest threat from set pieces. He graduated after last season. Not near as much of a threat from these type of situations, but they'll have another opportunity here.
Perhaps filling that role for the Bulldogs will be Abram Mendez, standing in at 6'4", moving forward, wearing number 19.
Certainly in there amongst the Bulldogs. You see him unmarked at the back post. It's swung in towards the penalty spot. Initial header won by Trinity. Second shot sent in by Maldonado and cleared by Rule. And runs out of play in front of Quiñones, and Rule will have the ball in his hands for a throw. Trinity had the best of the early action. Texas Lutheran since. A couple of chances, a couple of corners. I have to say the chances for Dueñas, though, have been far and away the best for either side. Got through one-on-one after he won the ball off the Texas Lutheran defender. And he also had the chance from the cross spilled by Caleb Weed. Downs dropping deep here. Looking to get the play started. Goes off to Galan. Into the feet of Phil Dueñas. Terrific play here from Trinity as it once again arrived at the feet of Downs. But no runs ahead of him. It goes all the way through to Caleb Weed. Velos wins the initial header and sends it sideways towards Peter Blanc. Blanc has to be careful with Green on his back. He sends the long ball onto the chest of Jones. It's a pinpoint service for the junior winger. While they're on the corner for Burns, who pokes it infield. It's intercepted by Mankey. And now Texas Lutheran can come forward. Blanc slipped, but he was up to his task as Luis Green had made a terrific run. Couldn't be found by a teammate there. Jones forward now down the right side. 2 in the area for Trinity. Dueñas at the near post. It's beaten to it as the Tigers keep it alive. At the feet of John Connor Rule. Now infield for Vanderlee. Coach Salazar comfortable with his team in this defensive position. Not comfortable in those moments of transition when Trinity have been able to break lines with their passing. Velos pokes it into the box for Burns, who could nearly get on the end of it. He was tangled up with the defender. Veloz showing his attacking abilities forward from left back. We saw them last week with a goal, nearly provided an assist here for Burns.
That was good play by Weed there, very decisive. Decided to come out, meet that ball before any Tiger.
Burns wanted to chip that one into the path of Joinez, who's able to track it down. Jones, unfortunately, into his own teammate's way. It's Green. Has it tackled away by Galan. Such an intriguing matchup between those two. All over the field as Galan pursues the All-American striker. Here's Galan on the ball now.
Down in the space, Dutty, down in the space.
Think forward for Veloz, an uncomfortable ball for the left back to deal with. Trinity keep possession. Blanc onto the thigh of Joinez, brings it under control, but three Bulldogs swarm around him to win it back. Galan dumped to the turf there after releasing the pass. He's having a word. Blanc forward for Rule. Tackled away from him by Quinones, out for a Trinity throw.
Stay with him, Jarrett.
Rule asking for more movement ahead of him with the ball in his hands. As Jones can't keep it in play. Logan Hurt will take the throw for Texas Lutheran.
Nick, in the space. You're too high.
JC Rule with a big win.
Yes, Jack. Yes,
From the throw.
man.
Burns sees off one defender, drops it back to the sophomore right back. Downs, the positive first touch. Goes out wide for Jones, who finds John Connor Rule in the box. And arriving at the back post, Kyle Davis had just overrun the ball. That was cut back towards him. Vanderlee tries to break up the counterattack, and it's 3 against 2 for the Bulldogs. Luis Green with the ball in the center circle. Veloz stands up and does his defensive duties well, stopping the counter, but Texas Lutheran still in possession. Trinity coming close yet again. That one just a matter of matching the cross and the run, as Davis was a couple steps too close to the goal to be able to tap it in for 1-0. Two dynamic attacking changes are ready for Trinity. Trinidad, Wesley Mitchell, both amongst the goal scoring actions on Sunday. Mitchell with 2 assists, Adji with his first goal here at Paul McGinley Field. And they'll bring energy and quality off the bench momentarily. Gallant puts it up for a TLU throw. 25 minutes gone. Bulldogs still looking for their first shot of the game. They've had a couple of corner kicks. Yet to create any danger that Vidales has had to deal with. It's a good idea from Quinones on the far side, but overhit, out for a goal kick, and here come those substitutions we mentioned.
And as you mentioned, a couple of corner kicks for the Bulldogs here early on, and certainly plenty of opportunities for the Tigers. What do you think each team's going to need to do in the coming minutes trying to break through and break this draw we have going right now?
Yeah, I really like these substitutions from Coach McGinley. We saw Mitchell come off the bench to great success against the Celts last week, playing up front in that number 9 position in place of Joinez. He's really accomplished with the ball and can play with his back to goal, can turn, find a teammate. So I think he may be decisive off the bench for Trinity. And as for Texas Lutheran, they always knew they weren't going to have the run of play, and they've nearly sprung a couple counterattacks, so I think they'll be happy with where this game is at 0-0 as the visiting team. Davis forward down the left side. Mitchell tries to put the ball in the box. Recovered by Kyle Davis. Veloz sends it towards the back post. Adji was there. He lost his footing and Weed came out to claim. J.C. Rule sprinting back. Vanderlee sprinting across to deal with it. Put out for a throw. Logan Hurt now wearing the number 71. I'm sure there's a solid reason behind that we don't know, considering the highest number besides him is 35 on the roster. Vanderlee locked in a battle near the corner flag, winning a throw for his team. He was up against Esparza, a senior from Cibolo, Texas, just locally here. Plenty of San Antonio talent across both rosters, including Coach Salazar himself, former high school standout in the area, and then coached Central Catholic, as did Trinity assistant Edward Carty.
No, the substitutes for Trinity hooking up. Great run here.
Agee into the box and fires it right at Caleb Weed. As you mentioned, those two substitutions combining, creating this opportunity for sophomore transfer Chin Agee. He came off the left in Trinity's last game, playing off the right here in place of Jones. Didn't have a great angle there on the shot. First touch in a while for Vidalis. Goes short for Galan. Galan gets it back from Downs and retreats back for Vidalis. One of the best goalkeepers in the conference with his feet. Trying to use him to play out here. They're in possession in the center circle now with Downs.
Jack, left shoulder, Jack.
Velos down the line for Davis. Last touch off long. Trinity throw.
Help us in the middle. Double him in.
Ball into the feet of Mitchell. He lays off, and the shot comes in from Velos. And it'll be a throw-in as he sliced that attempt there. Texas Lutheran deep in their own half. Look to flick this on and find the feet of Green. Green beaten to it by Galan. Medina, sweet feet in the center circle, wants the ball over the top for Green. But again, intercepted by Galan, who's been up to the task so far in the first half. Downs fires it into the right foot of Burns. He spreads the play now with Rule. Downs frustrated there as the ball took a little bobble before he put it out of play. Throw in taken into the feet of Vidalis. Trinity and TLU both receiving 4 first-place votes in the preseason polling. Trinity just barely edging Texas Lutheran through the others. Colorado College, another one. It'll be up next for both of these teams. The next week or so will decide the top seeds in the conference for the tournament, as Colorado College will make a trip down to play Trinity next Friday, and then the Bulldogs of Texas Lutheran next Sunday. Trinity and Colorado College currently tied up at the top of the conference at 3-0-1. Davis with the ball forward to Mitchell. Brings it under control at the halfway line. Out to his left, he's got Velos. Velos will look to go beyond the defender, but it's solid play by Mendez. Immediately turned over to Trinity, though, into the feet of Mitchell, who looked to turn. And if there was a little more pace on the ball, I think he would have got in behind there. Such a crafty play. He's come short so many times, played with his back to goal. And that time he looked to turn and punish. As you see, 3-0-1 for both Trinity and Colorado College in the SCAC this season. Southwestern has a draw against both of these teams. Actually, excuse me, they defeated Texas Lutheran and drew against Trinity for their 2-0-2 mark on the year. they'll have a part to play in the tournament. Tournament which will be held at Centenary University. Burns gives away the free kick. Subs ready for both teams. McGuire and McCord for Trinity. Set to come in, and Jorge Ugas, first-year midfielder from Cibolo, readies himself for the Bulldogs. Aji on a diagonal drive here. Plays it forward to Davis to his left. Gets the return ball from Davis. Aji into the area. Ball across to the feet of Mitchell, who goes down. And the referee says play on. We'll have to see on the replay, and we will here quickly. Ball deflected to Mitchell. And I'm not sure what the referee's seen there to not give a penalty, as Mitchell's back leg was just taken out from under him. Either way, we play on. Texas Lutheran forward now down the right wing, winning a corner kick. See it again. It looks stonewall for me.
I'd have to agree with you there. Doesn't look like the contest came anywhere close to the ball in the end.
And if Mitchell was on his feet, he was going to lay it off to Burns, who would have had a tap in to score the game's opening goal. So Downs and Davis off for McGuire and McCord to finish out the first half. And Medina, as well as Mitchell Long, off for the Bulldogs.
This is the second set of subs on for Trinity in this first half. The first set have made an immediate impact. We'll see if this pair can do the same.
Left-footed service in right into Vidalis, who holds well. SCAC Defensive Player of the Week. Up to the task there. Quickly rolls it out to Peter Blanc. Velos gives it back to Vanderlee, who's facilitating the play here. West Trinity come forward now with Burns. Out wide for McGuire. They couldn't combine. Two more subs readying themselves for Trinity.
There's no one in there, man. You gotta get in there.
Still no shots on target for Texas Lutheran. But they'll like where they're at 0-0 with the best striker that this conference has seen for a long time up front. Always gives you a chance. First real involvement for Ugas as he drops it off. They look to spread the play for Quinones, but Rule wins the header. Rule goes infield for Blanc.
Yeah, well done.
Can't pick out Mitchell with the long ball. Ball breaks here in midfield for Burns. Burns drives beyond one defender.
23.
Lays it off for McGuire on the left. The service comes in, deflected behind for a corner. Burns will like that kind of space in midfield. Plenty of room for him to drive, facilitate the attacks.
Yeah, after giving the ball possession away on that last possession, he looked to redeem himself there and helped his team earn a corner right here.
He himself will take. Plenty forward for Trinity. Right-footed in-swinging service comes right into the waiting arms of Caleb Weed. Trinity looking to make life difficult for the 5'6" goalkeeper. But he rose to meet that challenge. Thrown out now for McCausland. Chinaji chased him down. Still arguments continue, and eventually Texas Lutheran ball. That is the verdict. Jake Simon and Ethan Moore will replace Burns and Vanderlee in the midfield for Trinity. And Nathan Roy, first-year midfielder, comes in for the Bulldogs. listed as a defender. He's going to go into midfield here. Ball into the chest of Green, edge of the area. Trinity converges around the All-American striker. He tried to pick out a teammate in response, but too much on it behind for a goal kick.
And the Tigers have certainly marked Green well early on this half. He has not had much of an opportunity to put the ball in the back of the net yet.
And nor even assist a teammate, as Texas Lutheran still looking for their first shot of today's game. Mitchell holds off his defender well. He's wrong side of one, but the help defense came from Mendez. Ball launched forward. Green will pursue. Galan clears. Ethan Moore, the substitute, looking to get on the end of it. Mitchell pokes it away from Menke. Another big tackle from Velos on the far side. And they'll say he didn't get the ball. It's a free kick for Texas Lutheran. Ayala comes forward from the back, as does Abram Mendez.
Hey, we need somebody to go outside of 23.
Mendez unmarked for a moment. You already noted once in this game he's the tallest player on the roster for the Bulldogs at 6'4". As this one swung in. Header one uncontested by Peter Blanc. Moore fouled by Quinones. Trinity can advance. Another set piece for Texas Lutheran in which they couldn't get a shot on target. They've had their opportunities, but it's been Trinity that's dominated in their defensive penalty area, winning any and every header.
Many of those being won by John Connor Rule, who's making a run down the right side now.
Rule bursting forward beyond the Bulldog back line. The cross is cut back. And again, McGuire had just overrun it, similar to Davis earlier in the half. Another solid burst forward from Rule. It had been a few minutes since we'd seen one, but he's been a constant presence up and down the right flank. McGuire lays it off for Moore. Falls back to McGuire. The layoff from Mitchell. Shots blocked.
Nestor, come on,
haven't seen many shots from outside the area for Trinity, despite the success they had against Weed on long shots last year. Maybe an adjustment they can make at the break, which is quickly approaching. 6.5 to go here in the first 45. Rule into the feet of Moore. The senior lays it off to Simon. Blanc exchange with McCord in midfield. Eventually, there were just no options for Peter Blanc, who cleared it, but Esparza blocked it out for a throw. Rule, big throw into the chest of Mitchell, holding off a couple of defenders, able to turn to his left. Laid off for Mac McCord. Velos goes on the underlap here, as McGuire himself looks to come inside. Wanted to exchange it with the left back. Simon beaten to it by Quinones. It's at the feet of Green, just inside the Trinity half. This pass poked away by Ethan Moore. The Tigers stave off another potential counterattack. Heavy first touch from Galan, but he tracks it down ahead of Esparza. Moore lays it off to Galan. Another loose pass is met by a sliding tackle from Simon. Green with the layoff. Ugas gives it back to Green. He's got Galan all over him. Touch last off Luis Green.
But Green, 40 minutes into this first half, remains incredibly patient, not trying to over-force the issue, and I think that is the mark of a great forward right here.
Yeah, and one that's experienced this treatment before. He knows he's going to come here and have a tough game, matched up with Galan. The good thing about being a forward is you can have opportunity after opportunity, but you just have to convert once, and you've won your battle. against the opposition defender. And that's what Green was able to do in the SCAC semifinals on this very field. After Galan kept him in check for 2 games last year, he broke through in the all-important third. Trinity, the only team besides Claremont Mud Scripps in the NCAA tournament that held this Bulldog team scoreless in a game. They were able to do it twice. Certainly precedent for the Galan man-marking approach to work. Another factor in that SCAC semifinal game is that Trinity had to go through the quarterfinals, whereas Texas Lutheran were fresh, well rested heading into the semifinal game. Maybe contributed to why those goals came so late in the all-important matchup. 3 minutes, 15 seconds to go. Trinity had the best of the opportunities. Dueñez twice turned away, once by Weed, once by the post. As Green battling against Galan, but Galan sees it over the line for a goal kick. Ball at the feet of Jacob Galan. Switches it over to the right side. Peter Blanc, all kinds of time. The senior from the Netherlands returning after a couple years away to rejoin the team. Provides a solid presence at the back, whether he's alongside Rule, Galan, Johnston. He's been the stalwart this season. As Adji tries to get it under control in the box. Touch is too heavy. It's out for a goal kick. Texas Lutheran scored over 2 goals a game last season, just giving up 0.8. A lot of that thanks to Green and his goal-scoring prowess. He's been held in check so far in this game. Weed's goal kick. Just about reaches the halfway line. Header won by McGuire. It's now on the chest of Moore. Flicks it over the top, looking for Alan McGuire. Another team with a foot on the ball until Ethan Moore able to get it under control. Loose pass in midfield. Bulldogs looking to come forward now down the left. Brandon Marin, 1v1 with John Connor Rule. Wins a corner. 1 minute to go.
1 minute, 1 minute.
Could be last opportunity for Texas Lutheran, who's still yet to register a shot in the first half. It's their 3rd corner, 4th corner of the game. Yet to create anything dangerous from a set piece. Jorge Ugas will whip it in swinging service on the right foot. Nearly found the head of Ayala. Quinones tracks it down. And it'll be a Trinity throw.
Seemed to be much better service for the Bulldogs on that corner. Seemed like the first real opportunity for that ball to find the head of a Bulldog and end up in the back of the net.
Trinity going to see this one out. We saw on Sunday a scoreless first half, ended up 5-2 to Trinity, so don't turn the game off. Whatever you do, we're poised for an exciting, intense second half of action. See the final stats from the first half. Trinity taking all the shots, 4 of those on target, 4 all saved by Caleb Weed, 1 stopped by the post to his left. See what adjustments are made by the 2 coaches as we take a quick 15-minute break and return for the second 45. You're watching the Tiger Network, SCAC Men's Soccer. We welcome you back here on the Tiger Network to Paul McGinley Field on the campus of Trinity University for the second half of this SCAC men's soccer matchup between Trinity and Texas Lutheran. Just one change for Coach McGinley from his starting group here in the second half, and that's Mitchell, who keeps his place up front. And one injury-enforced change for Texas Lutheran as Quinones has replaced Joao Maya, came off injured after starting the game. Trinity breaks their huddle, and Texas Lutheran about to do the same. Trinity had a vast majority of the chances in the first half. They had a one-on-one for Phil Duenas, saved by goalkeeper Caleb Weed. And Weed spilled a cross right to the feet of Duenas, who rocked the post with a shot. And then Mitchell brought down in the area. Referee did not give a penalty, despite what we thought looked like a foul. So Trinity with a majority of the chances. Texas Lutheran yet to record a shot in the game. But they've always got a shot in the game, and Luis Green leads the line.
And you mentioned that in that opening that Weed will remain in goal at times. The Bulldog coaching staff has made the decision to go with freshman Pena in goal. Splitting time, how do you feel about the decision to leave Weed in goal for the second half here?
Yeah, I think he's got experience in big games here at Paul McGinley Field. He was involved in the first half, made a very important save against Duenas. Be a tough call to bring in an inexperienced keeper to such an important game. Despite, he's won SCAC Defensive Player of the Week this season. So he's clearly a solid keeper option, but I think the right idea is to stick with the experience of Caleb Weed, who's been stared down here by Jack Downs, standing over the free kick. A couple steps back, then whips it into the danger area. Closest to it was Vanderleet. He goes all the way through for a goal kick. First chance for Trinity off the free kick. Nothing doing.
Yeah, a good chance early on, but nothing came of it. Seems like a little bit of a wasted opportunity to open this second half.
Weed will send the Bulldogs up the field. Goal kick comes out to this right side where Kyle Davis wins the header for Trinity. The gray ball for Texas Lutheran in these new gray uniforms, the white trim. Ball in behind Jacob Galan, who's forced to haul Esparza down to the ground. And if Galan goes into the book here, would be an interesting subplot for the rest of this game. Looks like he's going to escape a booking.
Let's go, Gray!
He might escape a booking, but the Tigers still in a precarious situation here as the Bulldogs have a set piece just outside of the box.
Yeah, 6 or 7 forward for TLU as Esparza stands over it. Unmarked on the edge of the area, Mitchell Long. Stinked in towards Green, came off the hand of the Bulldog attacker, Medina. And the pressure is relieved for the moment. Great service in from Esparza, just unfortunate that it came off the hand of his teammate Medina.
Yeah, and you're right there. Great service in on that one, and it seems like the more opportunities the Bulldogs get, the better they have done with them.
Starting to hone in on a potential first shot of the game from a set piece. You mentioned the corner kicks improved as the first half went on, and that was another good service from Esparza. Bulldogs now have a throw on the far side. Logan Hurt sends it forward off the head of Rule. Bulldogs will do it again.
Nick, find the space, Nick! Be in the gap to help us transition out on the angle!
Hurt's second throw comes off the head of Green. Flicked back towards Blanc. Vidalis coming. Medina was in the area. Good speed off the line there from Juan Carlos Vidalis, Trinity goalkeeper. Davis fouled on the halfway line. Mitchell Long will retreat. Trinity will go quickly. Drop back to Jacob Galan. Exchange of passes here between center back and left back. Eventually all the way back to the goalkeeper. Blanc coming forward into the attack. Forward to Rule. His ball looking for the run of Mitchell. It's put out for a throw on the far side. 5 minutes gone here in the second half. Mitchell, ball at his feet, just inside the area. Dumped off to Jones, who sends a high arcing cross in. Burns looked to bring it down. Couldn't do so, and now Trinity will have a throw closer to the halfway line. Ton of height on that cross from Jones, and some swirling wind in the area. Could have made things interesting. It's now Mitchell down the right side.
No service! No service!
Rule into the feet of Connor Jones.
Get out there, Santi!
It's back to the right back. Now space opens up for Mitchell to whip it in. Davis closest to it. Couldn't meet it with his head. And it's sent clear by the Bulldogs. Trinity with some sustained pressure here, going from side to side.
Watch him coming across! Left shoulder, Ivy!
Davis receives it with the defender on his back. Cleared away by Menke. Velos fouled by Medina. Velos goes quickly, gets it back from Burns. Again with the Scotsman in midfield. All the way back to Jacob Galan. Here comes the TLU pressure. 4 converging around Trinity's number 9, so we'll go all the way back to 99, Vidales.
Keep it this way, Luis. A little pressure. Come on, come on. Go, 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 go.
Medina pressuring Velos, who's played a good ball into the striker's feet. And now Mitchell looking to track it down ahead of Esparza. Eventually, Mitchell dumped to the turf, but Trinity on the attack. We play on the advantage. Rule with the cutback cross towards Downs, cleared away. Falls for Burns, 25 yards from goal. Swings it out to Blanc on the right. Ball into the path of Jones. Hurt gonna try and shield this one out of play. Coming together, and Jones is able to win it back. Kept alive by Burns at the top of the box. Trinity will take a long shot here with Peter Blanc. Flashes wide. Constant pressure right now from the Tigers.
Yeah, a lot of building play for Trinity right now. Great opportunities to open this second half. They keep this pressure on. It seems like just a matter of time before the ball finds the back of the net.
Weed taking his time as the Bulldogs catch their breath and head up the field. To this point, Luis Green still kept in check by Jacob Galan. Ball sent right onto the halfway line. Header won by Vanderleet. Comes to Mitchell. Tries to knock it down for Davis. It's hooked clear by Long, only as far as Burns. Burns goes to the ground, trying to draw a foul, but he's still able to poke it over to Mitchell, who overhits the pass out for a throw on the far side. See, the sense of urgency very different for the two teams when the ball goes out of play. Trinity looking to get it in quickly and keep this pressure up, keep their momentum flowing. Texas Lutheran preferring to break up the play, catch their breath when the ball's out.
Yeah, the Bulldogs really looking to counter off of Trinity attacks, but they really haven't had that opportunity here yet in the second half.
Jones now running at Logan Hurt. He's got J.C. Rule out to his right. He's going to try and go himself. Cross blocked behind by Hurt. It'll be another Trinity corner. Blanc will come up from the back. Of course, no Brady Johnson on the field at the moment for Trinity, their biggest threat from set pieces.
That's too far. Way too far. He's passing 19. They're not listening. They don't want to work.
Coach Salazar told to go back to his technical area as Downs whips it in. Again looking for Davis. Jones tries the first-time shot from the edge of the area. It still may fall for Kyle Davis in the box. Goes past one defender, dinks towards the back post. Overrun by Vanderlee, who keeps it alive. Blanc fires the left-footed shot. And the chance goes for Trinity. Burns goes all the way back to Vidalis. Flurry of half chances at the moment for Trinity. Just can't find the decisive touch, decisive shot. Now up to 10 efforts in the game, 4 on target. No saves for Caleb Weed thus far in the second half. Ball into the feet of Burns. Exchange with Jones as Rule breaks forward, tries to cut the ball back low on the ground. Again, it's cleared. Blanc into the feet of Burns. Now it's Jones down the right. Cuts onto his left and sends the ball across. Again, Mitchell close to it, but just barely off the mark.
Saw J.C. Rule make another run down that right side on this possession. It feels like at this point, if something's going to happen for the Tigers, J.C. Rule may have a part to play in it.
Yeah, we mentioned he's being deployed in a little bit of a different role today. Usually more central. Today's at right back. And he likes to drive forward from center back as well, but you don't get as many opportunities as you do down the flank. And he's taken advantage so far today. Been one of the standout performers of the game. As Jones can't keep that one in play from the goal kick. Trinity chasing a potential #1 seed in the conference tournament. They're neck and neck with Colorado College in the standings. Texas Lutheran looking to maybe get in on that first round bye action that they benefited from when they won the SCAC last season. Mitchell deep in Texas Lutheran territory. Give and go with Downs, but Mitchell offside. It's a well-disciplined line for the Bulldogs. And again, they get a chance to relieve the pressure.
But Mitchell did well moving forward on that one. He's another name for the Tigers that you figure if something's going to happen, he will play a part in it off the bench today.
Rule. That one cut out by Esparza. And now himself comes forward. Vanderlee showing his pace to get back and defend. Roll back the years there. Quentin Vanderlee tracking back and winning it for the Tigers. He adjusts that captain's armband on his left bicep. He's headed to SMU next season as a graduate senior. Be fun to follow his progress for the Mustangs, moving from Division III to Division I. Been an All-American selection at the Division III level. Mitchell, strong hold-up play. Goes back to Rule. Gives it back to Wesley Mitchell, dropping deep. Now time for Galan, who goes to Blanc. It's a big switch for Davis, who may be in behind Mitchell long. Davis first touch, and he goes beyond the defender. Mitchell goes to ground, and we're headed to the spot. Wesley Mitchell draws the penalty after Davis put an excellent ball across, and you see the shove in the back. Mitchell takes that contact and says, okay, take the shot from 12 yards.
And an excellent job by Davis on that one. Great first touch, allowed that ball to settle at his feet and then send it across, resulting in the penalty here.
Burns, who's on the field, converted Trinity's last penalty, but it's Jack Downs who will take this one. Staring down Caleb Weed. Jack Downs from Sheffield, England. There's the referee's whistle. Jack Downs steps up and dispatches the penalty. Trinity now in the lead. Downs' first goal of the season comes at an important time. 33 minutes remaining in this pivotal matchup, this rematch of last year's SCAC semifinal. We'd got a good read on it. Just didn't get down in time.
Yeah, but things have been building here for really the last 60 minutes for the Tigers, and it felt like a matter of time before they got one, and they did there.
Mitchell calling for the energy from the Trinity bench. All the momentum now with the home team. In response, looks like Texas Lutheran will make a sub here in a moment. So we are back underway. Long ball intercepted by Velos. Goal scoring Jack Downs loses possession and commits a foul.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the Tigers very energized after getting that goal. It'll be interesting to see how both teams continue to respond here.
Yeah, and for Texas Lutheran, who've been content to sit in, not press forward as much as we see them against other teams. Now they're going to have to come out and try and build these attacks rather than just wait for counter-attacking opportunities. Substitution is going to be at left back for Texas Lutheran. McCausland places Logan Hurt. And for Trinity, it'll be Chin Adji and Michael Somerville. Jones and Davis will come off, so it looks like Mitchell may go out onto the wing for Somerville, the main striker. Texas Lutheran wins a free kick in a dangerous area. See if they can answer back after Trinity opened the scoring just moments ago through Jack Downs.
Adrian, hold! Hold!
2 over it for Texas Lutheran. Esparza steps up to take. It's a low service looking for Luis Green. Cleared away by Burns. Now Burns comes across to meet Medina, who whips it in. Dangerous ball. Mitchell, the crucial intervention at the back post. And Trinity gets it clear. Somerville has it taken away by Mankey. Still applying the pressure. Medina sends that one forward. Blanc wins the header. And Vanderlee able to swivel and clear. Mankey brings it down in midfield, steps past Downs, steps past another Trinity defender, and draws the free kick in shooting range.
Yeah, a really dangerous spot. This is a great opportunity for the Bulldogs to answer quickly after the Tigers netted the first goal of the game.
Yeah, tough call against Golan there. Looked like he got to the ball first after a really good run from Mankey in midfield. Mankey, the Stratford High School graduate in Houston, Texas, in his first year with the Bulldogs. Interesting to see Luis Green not standing over this free kick. I think there's some type of arrangement here as the coaching staff are yelling at Luis Green. Maybe something they've done on the training ground. Esparza is the one standing over it. And he takes the shot, and it's gobbled up by Vidales. His first real save of the afternoon. First shot on target for the Bulldogs. He's had to deal with some crosses, and he's done well to this point, as he did there on the shot. Somerville, really good play to keep possession for Trinity in the attacking area. And he can't get it back from Mitchell. Green, 2 touches and around the corner for Esparza, who's stripped away from him by Vanderlee. See the difficulties for Texas Lutheran in terms of the build-up play, and you can attribute that to players that are out through injury. Roman, who's out for the season, and then Joao Maya, a creative midfielder that they lost in the opening 20 minutes of this game, but they've won it back on the press, and Luis Green's in behind. Golan trying to come and meet him. And Luis Green's first shot of the game comes to 28 minutes to go. Vidales equal to it.
And I said in the first half that Green remained very patient, very deep into the half, but that one seemed a little rushed, as there have not been many opportunities for the striker in this one.
Yeah, he takes tons of shots, more than anyone else in the conference. Understandably so with how many he puts in the back of the net, but it's only a matter of time before he's going to have a pop-it goal. He did there for the first time in today's game. Adji looking to hold it up for Trinity. Able to do so, took contact from 2 players, but he won it back from Menke for Medina. Dumped him to the turf.
And Adji and Somerville, the 2 subs that came on after the goal for the Tigers, it seems apparent that the coaching staff wants to continue to press forward and apply the pressure on the Bulldogs here.
And they've both shown really good energy off the bench. Solos stands over this free kick. Just goes short for Peter Blanc. Out wide for Mitchell. Back to the Tigers, number 2. Exchange between Downs and Mitchell. Pops up in the air and last touches off a Bulldog player. Couple subs starting to get warmed up for Texas Lutheran down to our left. As Trinity wins another corner, not a ton of action on the Tiger bench. They're content with what they've got out there right now after opening the scoring through Jack Downs at the penalty spot. This one whipped into the near post, and J.C. Rule got a clean shot away, but couldn't get his hips around on the ball, and it's behind for a goal kick. Trinity pressing as Texas Lutheran went short, forcing the long ball, which Blanc is able to reel in. Vanderlee, some time and space in the midfield. Comes to Velos at the bottom of your screen. Into the feet of Somerville. Adji, 2 defenders on him. Poked away, out for a Trinity throw. Velos, throw into the chest of Somerville. Adji wanted to go back to Trinity's left back, but the clearance came off his hand. Tigers now tracking back. Galan under pressure from Green. The composed ball back to Vidalis. Got that exactly right. Somerville gets a foot on the ball. Trinity can advance now. Ball in behind, and it's inch perfect for Adji. Tries to cut in onto his right foot, but it was solid defending. And the referee is given a foul, and it looked like it was Shirley in the penalty area. And yes, he has changed the decision. We're headed to the spot for the second time in the half. And this one looked clear as day. Mitchell Long fouled Adji. That play all started on the perfectly weighted through ball from Quentin Vanderlee. Opened up the space. Adji draws the foul, and we'll see who steps up to take the penalty. Still discussions. Looks like Vanderlee, the captain, will do so.
And again, after the last goal, the first goal of the game by the Tigers, it was Adji, the substitute, that came on and created a second scoring opportunity at the spot for the Tigers here.
Always tough to take 2 penalties in a game, so Downs passes this one off to his midfield partner, Quentin Vanderlee. Can he get his first goal of the season and put Trinity in a commanding position here in San Antonio? Weed remembers the instructions from last time. Vanderlee steps up, and it's saved. Texas Lutheran sticks around in this game. Trinity's first missed penalty of the season as Weed read it all the way. See, that goals against average just over 1 a game. That's what he's given up today.
And that's great play from Weed there. For the second time in a row this game, he guessed right on the penalty, this time able to get to it and keep the Bulldogs within 1, keep them within striking distance, as we are now under 25 minutes in this one.
Off the head of Green, cleared by Blanc. Somerville loses out that time to Ayala. Trinity keep possession. Just dropped off to Rule. Trinity had struggles over the last 2 seasons from the penalty spot. Looked like they had righted those wrongs this year with 2 for 2 in the young season. That miss really could have put them out in a commanding position.
Come on, keep going.
Still, though, they have the run of play. They have the momentum. And they have the ball now with J.C. Rule. Forward to Mitchell.
And that is an important note. The Tigers have done a great job holding possession in this game.
Texas Lutheran going to have to start pressing a little bit higher as the clock ticks down. They move forward down the left side now. Luis Green holding it off. J.C. Rule.
15. We need you guys on both sides of the ball.
Mitchell heads it down to Jack Downs. Does extremely well to keep possession. Spread the play now for Adji. Veloz went on the overlap. He's got Esparza all over him. The pressure now coming higher up the field as expected for Texas Lutheran. 3 subs coming as well. You imagine those attacking-minded changes. Rule motoring forward down the right, and he's won a corner. J.C. Rule has been energetic throughout this entire game, up and down that right side, and he wins another opportunity here for Trinity.
He's been an absolute workhorse today for the Tigers. Played all 45 minutes in the first half. Has yet to see a break here in the second, almost 25 minutes in.
Yeah, you notice a lot of subs in the first half, but since Trinity's been on the front foot, not many changes at all for Coach McGinley as they swing this corner in. Jack Downs onto the head of Luis Green. Adji gets a hold of it, and it falls for Mitchell, but the flag's up. Mitchell calmly dispatched the finish, but he hadn't got back from the offside position. And now Texas Lutheran looks to go the other way. McCausland forward down the left. Drops it off for Quinones. Quinones fouled, according to the referee, Blanc, one that committed the infraction. And the 4 substitutes now that wait for Texas Lutheran will continue to do so, as those guys that are out there in gray will have this set piece opportunity. Esparza over it again. Green in the box. Mendez another target at 6'4". McCausland now takes it and onto the head of Peter Blanc. Disappointing service that time from the lefty. And the 4 subs now come into the game for the Bulldogs. Nathan Roy, Jorge Ugas, Mark Costanza, and Brandon Marin. Quinones, Maldonado, Esparza, and Mankey, the 4 that will take a seat for Coach Salazar, who notably has yet to take a seat in this game. He's up and down the touchline, kicking every ball, as he once did for the Bulldogs as a player. Veloz, the ball over the top. Adji and Somerville at full sprint as it runs out of play. Last touch off the Bulldogs.
What have you seen so far? After that last penalty was saved by Weed in goal, how have these 2 teams responded?
Yeah, we started to see Texas Lutheran pushing a little bit higher in the press, but for the most part, it's still been all Trinity creating chances, as Adji has it just around the edge of the D. And so I have to say right now, Trinity looks the more likely of the 2 teams. But as we keep saying, it just takes one chance for Green as Downs has a pop and sends it way over the bar. And the higher they press, the more likely Trinity may commit an error. That could allow the Bulldogs to equalize. We've already had 1 overtime game here this season, last week against Southwestern, when Piet scored in the 86th minute to prevent a Trinity win. Medina stayed down here. I think he's cramped up. This will be his teammate Costanza to try and stretch him out.
It is a bit humid. Had some rain earlier in the day in San Antonio, but haven't had any issues with that since before the women's game between Trinity and Texas Lutheran, game in which the Tigers won 3-1.
Solid performance, as we've come to expect from the Tiger ladies over the years. There's actually one of their players, Emma Everts, also a photographer for the Trinity SID department. $18:50 remaining here in the second half. SCAC men's soccer action between Trinity and Texas Lutheran, the defending conference champions. Trinity in front on a 58th minute penalty kick from Jack Downs. Esparza re-enters now for Medina, who had stayed down injured. Looks like he'll be okay, maybe grab a drink and re-enter, as Esparza just did, only on the bench for just about a minute.
No surprise, Esparza's been involved in a lot of the action up front for the Bulldogs here, so it looks like he'll be an important piece if they're looking to equalize in this one.
Medalla slightly under hit on that clearance. Great play from Mitchell, takes on the chest, puts it around the corner for Rule. He's going to try and beat his man down the line. And he's won another corner. He's done so often for Trinity. But mentioning Esparza, he's a player I think they'd like to have deeper in the midfield, orchestrating the play, but with so many of their creative options limited by injury, he's the one that's stepping up to try and fill that void behind Luis Green. As Down steps up to take yet another Trinity corner. Rule closest to it, it may fall for Wesley Mitchell! And the Bulldogs can't clear it off the line. Wesley Mitchell scored the winner against Texas Lutheran last season, and he's got the insurance goal here today.
And as the Tigers celebrate, just what we talked about, Mitchell playing a huge role in this one so far, as we see the replay here.
Down swings it in, comes off the foot of Vanderlee, and Mitchell slams it home. Mata was on the line, but he couldn't clear it. First goal of the season for Wesley Mitchell. It is a huge one.
Yeah, even in a crowd there, Mitchell seemed very composed and struck that one well, made sure it ended up in the back of the net.
Trinity finally putting one of the corner kicks to use. And now it seems a long way back for the Bulldogs of Texas Lutheran, in danger of falling to 3-3 on the season as defending conference champions. We mentioned some of the key pieces that have not returned. A couple of senior leaders and one of the most promising attacking players in Marco Roman. And they've been involved in some dogfights, pardon the pun, this season. They lost 1-0 to both Southwestern and St. Thomas. They've had comfortable wins over Austin College, Shriner, and the University of Dallas. It's been a mixed bag for Coach Salazar's team as defending champs. Trinity very experienced in winning this conference. Have done so 21 times with Coach McGinley in his 30th season. See, he's won it more than he hasn't, as Velos breaks forward into the attack. Takes the shot on and sends Weed scrambling to try and get it back in play quickly. It's difficult to repeat, and I think the fact that Trinity has been able to do so many times is a little deceiving. Texas Lutheran with the weight of expectation and also so many holes to fill with leaving players. J.C. Rule uses that same move to chop past the defender. The cross is cut back towards Somerville. It's just a little overhit. Somerville couldn't react in time. Adji tries to track it down. A solid play by Ugas. And Vanderlee stops the counter. Jack Mankey. Re-enter for Costanza at the base of the Texas Lutheran midfield. Mata takes the throw over the head of Agi, flicked on by Esparza. Again, flicked on by Ugas. Green looking to break onto it. Keeps it in play. Near the corner flag, swings in the cross. Headed away by Galan, hooked clear by Vanderlee. Burns sends it down the line. Somerville allows it to run. He's locked into battle here. And he's brought down. And we should see a card come out here against Abram Mendez. Referee's left his cards in his pocket in this game, and there have been opportunities for both teams to pull it out, certainly. That was one of them. Great work by Somerville to draw the foul. Free kick, which will now be taken by Fraser Burns. This is an area he really likes to whip it in towards the back post. The Scotsman does so, high arcing towards Blanc at the back post. Nothing in it, and Weed able to punt clear. Downs takes it off the foot of Green. He's had a frustrating afternoon, devoid of any real service. Just a one shot on target for All-American Luis Green.
Yeah, and he's just been so well marked by the Tiger defenders today. Galan's done an excellent job, but as have a number of other Tiger defenders who have helped out and applied pressure.
Ball back to Vidalis. It's been forced into just the one save in the Trinity net. Somerville again causing problems as a striker. Wins a throw as Trinity prepares quite a number of changes. Looks like maybe even 5 or 6 readying themselves. Always risky to make that many changes in a game when you're controlling it.
With that high number of changes coming here for the Tigers, do you think that changes the approach for the final 13 minutes of this game?
Yeah, I think they'll certainly try and see it out, be a little more defensive, bring on a couple more defensive-minded players. As you're right now in a commanding position, no need to get a third necessarily. Don't tell that to John Connor Rule, though, as he breaks forward once again into the attack. Cut back ball for Burns. He's got 3 defenders around him, so he'll take the shot on. Weed palms it away, and Mata clears. So you can see the Trinity team out there right now still very attack-minded, and I think maybe some of these substitutions might rein it in a little bit. Might they come in at 3-0, though? Burns sends it over the top. Goal kick coming, and substitutions coming. 6 changes. Moore, McCord, Dueñas, Eubank, Johnston, and Jones.
27 for 18.
Johnston in the game for the first time. Replaces Peter Blanc, who's played every minute to this point. The 2 goal scorers will take a seat as well, Downs and Mitchell. Quinones and Medina re-enter for the Bulldogs. Trying to get something going in the attacking third. Substitution moves Veloso over to right back for Trinity as Eubank will play on the left. Moore, one of the substitutes, wins that header. Also wins a tackle immediately after.
And despite all these substitutes, the Tigers remain aggressive here, continue to push forward.
Looking for the third goal. Agi down the left wing. He's got Eubank in support. Loses out. Mata takes it away. Texas Lutheran just can't get it to the feet of Green. Johnson, just in the game, draws the foul. Those 2 in the SCAC 30th anniversary team, part of the best 18 players that have played over the last 30 years in the conference. A huge honor. The only 2 active players that were named to that lineup in the offseason. Both All-Americans. Both actually accomplished goal scorers. Johnston, despite being a center back, has put up double digits in his last full season. Eubank tracking back, gets there ahead of Medina.
Here it comes.
Vidales clears it. Mata sends it forward. Esparza in behind for Medina. 1-against-1 with the substitute. Eubank. Medina drop with the shoulder. Dinks it towards the back post, but gets way under it. It's behind for a goal kick. You see, they start to have a few more players in the attacking areas, but the quality has yet to show up for the Bulldogs as they make changes at both left and right back. Mitchell Long and Logan Hurt, the two starters, are back in now for the final 10 minutes. Johnston looks for the long ball to Jones. Cut out, but Trinity keep possession. Swing it around the back line. Jacob Galan. Clean touch in midfield for McCord. And the build-up play is excellent from Trinity. Might they turn into a third goal? Jones tries to cut it back for Dueñez. Underhit the cross. Still, though, with Ethan Moore. Takes the shot on! And picks out the top corner with precision! And Luke, I have to tell you, I had a word with Ethan before the game. And I had a feeling. I said, Ethan, take a shot today when you're in. He said, okay, we'll see. And we can see the result now. Ethan Moore from outside the box, a laser into the top corner for his first goal of the season. And the substitute puts the nail in the Texas Lutheran coffin.
Yeah, a great job there. Let that one settle at his feet, composed himself, and put a ton behind that ball. Absolutely no chance for Weed in the goal on that one.
Yeah. Sometimes you think Weed more susceptible to long shots because of his height. Not even the best keepers that this conference has to offer, taking that one away from Ethan Moore.
Jack on the right of it. No, sorry. Adrian on the right of it.
Eubank with the throw in. Trinity now comfortably in front, 3-0 as the clock ticks down. Tigers looking to move to 4-0-1 on the season, in pursuit of that top seed for the SCAC tournament coming up in a couple weeks. Jones, the ball forward to Velos on the overlap, cuts back, opens up the space for Connor Jones, whose cross is blocked, behind for a corner. I'll tell you what, between the women's game earlier and now some of the goals we've seen from the Tiger men today, we've seen some highlight reel stuff at Paul McGinley Field.
I'd have to agree. And we talked a lot about how the Tiger approach might change in this one before that last big group of substitutes came in. Figured that they might take a more defensive-minded approach, but I think we may have forgotten about the fact that Tigers fell to this Bulldog team in the SCAC championships last year, and I think they wanted to make a statement here today.
Yeah, absolutely. They won 4-0 here against the Bulldogs in non-conference regular season play, and then won 1-0 when it counted for the SCAC standings. As you mentioned, the one that really counted, that SCAC semifinal game, the Bulldogs came out on top. Trinity looking for retribution here.
Quickly!
And you have to say the game plan, both defensively and offensively, has worked to perfection as we see yet another second half goal explosion from Trinity, and it may still continue. Jones coming forward, 1-against-1 with Hurt. Looks to get down the byline, sends in the cross. Dueñez closest to it, but it's held by Weed, who will look to quickly start a counterattack. Trinity now up to 10 shots on target.
Back in! Up, Nick! Come on, Nick! Jared, get ready!
Johnston back to Vidales.
Yes, Jared, change it. Yes, Adrian down!
Eubank in the midfield for Moore, who scored the third goal.
Attack!
Moore loses his footing. Chance maybe for the Bulldogs in transition. Medina down the right side, sends the cross in. Luis Green's at the back post, but again, cross too close to Juan Carlos Vidalis. Service has been disappointing from the wide areas for the Bulldogs. That's where you really miss the likes of Marco Roman and Cameron Towns, their wingers that led them to the SCAC championship last season. Moore tries to weight that one in behind for Jones. The tackle from Mendez stopped the attack. As Menke turns and sends it upfield comfortably into Trinity hands. McCord swivels and sends it back to Vidalis, who's had a few more touches and his only save here in the second half. Pelos can't keep it in play on the far side, and both teams will make one change. Brandon Marin in for Texas Lutheran. And Michael Black in for Trinity. They'll also add Thorstein Steinerson to the list of changes. Velos and Galan, who have played the entirety of this game, will come off and get a well-earned rest with 5 minutes to go. Velos still about 30 yards onto the field when we resume play there. Eventually makes his way to the Tiger bench. First involvement for Steinerson, wins the header. Gets it back from McCord. Heavily involved, straight off the bench. Drops it off to Johnston, who sends it long. Out of play on the far side, and the refrain from the Trinity bench is finish this game strong, get the clean sheet. Game that's been so well controlled, I think, by Trinity. They felt always the ones initiating the attacks, controlling the tempo, and preventing the conference leading scorer from any meaningful looks at goal. Vidalis, his clearance is blocked. It falls for Johnston. Bit of good fortune there for Trinity.
Yeah, and one thing we've seen from the Tigers today is them playing out of the back a little bit, something they choose to do quite often. And when you have a forward like Green in that area, your passes have to be perfect, and today they have been.
I totally agree. The first real miscue in the back for Trinity. Luckily, doesn't lead to anything as the long throw is taken. Green collides with Vidalis, who's not happy. I think frustration starting to show for Green. Trinity's captain Vanderlee talks some sense into Luis Green. Two All-Americans exit the conference a little more level-headed. You see 22 shots for the Tigers, 10 on frame, 3 in the back of the net. The opener came from Downs in the 58th minute via the penalty spot. Vanderlee then had a penalty saved before Mitchell provided the insurance, and Moore provided a spectacular highlight for the third goal. Moore always has had a bit of flair to his game and provided a spectacular moment there, the senior. Another Tigers senior, Brady Johnston, dinks this one forward to the chest of Dueñez. Just about 2 minutes remaining. As Steinerson's pass is cut out, tracked down by Ethan Moore, who also loses out. Esparza sends it in behind. Michael Black, the solid pass down the line. Trinity playing some champagne football here. Now that the game feels beyond doubt, the result in the grasp of Trinity. And Texas Lutheran will recover the ball here, but they haven't had much of it, even when they've been chasing the game down the final stretch. Chin Adji wins it back. He'll take a shot on from distance, and it flashes just wide. Weed made the mistake. Adji nearly punished him for it.
Yeah, and even with a minute and a half left in this one, the Tigers applying the pressure
I saw the way they were able to add goals throughout the second half against St. Thomas. They've done the same here. Starting to become somewhat of a second half team over the past 2 weeks. Jones in no rush to take this one as Steinerson comes up from the back to throw it in. Ball to the feet of Dueñez.
1 minute.
Referee says no foul. Good footwork from Dueñez. McCord wants to put it in behind for Jones. So we're under a minute to play. And it appears Texas Lutheran will fall to 3-3 on the season. It's been a bumpy road back to a potential repeat. SCAC champions, there's a chance for a consolation goal. Vidalis takes it right off the toes of Brandon Marin, his best save of the game. He's playing with confidence. In between the sticks for Coach McGinley, SCAC Defensive Player of the Week.
And after the contact we saw in the box on the Bulldogs' last possession, I'm sure Vidalis wanted that one. Didn't want anything to be let in this game, especially with under a minute left.
And the final seconds tick down. Trinity improved to 4-0-1 on the season. They shut out Texas Lutheran and All-American Luis Green. Here are the goals. Jack Downs opened the scoring in the 58th minute from the penalty spot. Just outside the diving arm of Caleb Weed, who then went on to save the penalty from Vanderlee. Following that, Trinity from the corner kick, able to poke home the rebound. Wesley Mitchell evading all of the Texas Lutheran defenders that were in the way. And then the highlight reel finish from Ethan Moore, lasered into the top corner. And that was the cherry on top for Trinity, who now lead the conference after a strong homestand in which they've gone 2-0-1, and they'll look to continue that against Colorado College next Friday. We'll have that game here on the Tiger Network. First against second, don't miss it. 6 o'clock kickoff. Texas Lutheran will have games remaining against Colorado College the next Sunday, and then they'll conclude with a home game against Centenary. But for now, thank you for joining us and spending your Saturday afternoon watching some Trinity soccer. 2 wins on the day. Tigers sweep the doubleheader, women's and men's, each team scoring 3. For myself, Ryan Figert, and Luke Terry alongside me, Josh Muxagimba, and the whole student crew making it happen here on the Tiger Network. We wish you a happy Easter and a good rest of your Saturday.